So I'm watching this with my friends last night, and Tony, when he saw the poster, he was like, "What is this? The unwanted spin-off movie of the Human Torch?" I couldn't stop laughing for at least 5 minutes. Oh, Tony. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film Fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review Fahrenheit 451. So Fahrenheit 451 stars Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon, and what this film is basically about, it's about when, this is a dystopian future where books are not allowed. Books, it's a no-no. No-no. Books cannot happen in this world. And basically there's this group that literally burns them. If anybody sees them with the book or whatever, it burns. No. And Michael B. Jordan's character starts questioning things. Starts questioning some things that have happened in his life and stuff like that. And that's really all I can give with you for this film. So, what did I think of Fahrenheit 451? Now, going into this, I didn't have too many expectations. I was aware of the movie. I think I did see the trailer. I can't really remember, but I did remember seeing something for this movie. I heard that it was based on a book, and it was a remake also of a movie from years ago, apparently. And it was going to be an HBO original film, which I was quite interested to see. So, I did have some expectations going into it, but, it was very little because, I didn't really know too much about what the film was about. But, the cast and stuff like that and HBO got me excited and stuff. So, I was hoping maybe at least this could be a good film. And is it? Well, they really did kind of miss the mark on this. This could have been a really solid movie, but instead they choose a bland film to go with instead of a good movie, because that's exactly how I feel Fahrenheit 451 is. It's very bland, boring, and forgettable. I'm not gonna lie, within a couple of hours of just after watching this film, I was just forgetting the movie more and more as it went along, because it's so forgettable, honestly. It's just one of those movies you just watch and it was like, okay, yeah, I watched that, and nothing really sticks in your head. There's really only one thing that sticks in my head, really, and I should probably get into that right now with the positives. And my positives are, first being, well, the acting. The only thing that really stood out for me in this entire film was Michael B. Jordan's performance. I thought he was actually really fantastic in this movie. He was definitely the best element of this movie. I really thought he was the best thing about this film. I thought he was really enjoyable. He did give a really solid performance, and I did care for his character for the most part, I want to say, and I thought they, did a solid job with his character, really, but there are some things I did think they did a little bit wrong with this character, which I'll get into a little bit later, but I did think he did a really good job in the film, and he was definitely the best element about the movie. Michael Shannon was really good too. I thought Michael Shannon gave a really good performance as well. Sofia Boutella, hope I said that right because I've screwed up her name so many times, but Sofia Boutella was great. I thought she was really solid in the film as well. So yeah, I will say the acting is pretty good in this movie. Some of the action sequences, there are some action sequences in the film that I thought were pretty solid. I did kind of I was like, okay, that was pretty cool. That, wasn't too bad. I did kind of like that, So yeah, I felt like, some of the writing, the writing was very 50-50. And what I mean by this is, I'll say this. The writing was very 50-50. Because I will say, the dialogue and stuff like that was really good. I didn't really think the dialogue was all that bad with the film. I thought the aspect right there with the writing with that wasn't too bad. And I'll say that. The directing also wasn't too bad with the movie. It's pretty well shot. Editing is pretty good too, and the cinematography, is pretty solid as well. I will admit, it kind of does feel like a TV movie, really does. But I will say that they do for the most part. It is a pretty well, solid directed film in my opinion. And the pacing with the film at times is pretty good. I will say there are some times where I was invested into the story. I was like, okay, maybe this could be good and whatever. There are only some times where I felt like that. So yeah, those are my positives with the film, and now I unfortunately have a lot of negatives with this film, and those negatives are first being the characters. While I didn't think the acting was bad, I felt like the characters weren't really developed all that well. Like, I felt like there could have been more depth to these characters. And, that same goes with Michael B. Jordan's character. While I did care about his character for the most part, I really thought there could have been some more development towards that. I really thought there could have been more development towards his character, Michael Shannon's character, Sophia Boutella's. I just felt like there could have been more development for these characters, because I just really feel like they're just kind of like, oh, you're supposed to root for him, go against him, root for her. Like, and that's all I felt like. I never felt like there was any more depth to these characters than just that. And I thought they could have done a really better job of doing so. Also, I think the world building is kind of lame with this movie. Like, it's set in a futuristic dystopia, world and stuff like that. I really thought they could have done a better job of, really built world building a little bit more. Like, I think they could have done a better job of world building, this world, this society where books aren't allowed. And you just don't really do much with it. It's kind of just like, okay, like, it's just there, you know what I mean? Like, it's just there that they're in the future. Like, I never really feel like they, really build upon that. And I thought that was a missed opportunity, absolutely. That was totally a missed opportunity with this film. There was a forced romance in this film that I felt like was very unneeded. And it just felt very shoehorned in there. Like, why did this need to be in here, honestly? Like, it feels so unneeded. And I really felt like the way that they just shoehorn it into the film wasn't really necessary. I'm just kind of like, really? Okay. I really felt like the story was really bland with this movie. That's my biggest issue with this film, is that I feel like the story could have been a lot more interesting, considering who they got for the cast, and considering what this story is like. I just felt like they didn't really grasp on the opportunity, if you know what I mean. And they could have done so much better with it. And I just felt like it was just very bland and boring. I really was not invested into this film, to be honest with you, because for the most part, I really thought the story was bland. I really thought they didn't do a good job with it, honestly. I thought it could have been a lot more investing, to be honest. I really thought the writing was kind of like I said, it was very 50-50. The dialogue and stuff like that was pretty good, but the way when it came to, like, it's very surface level. I think my good buddy Kevin put this well when we were watching it. It's very surface level. That's exactly what it is. And I feel like they really don't give, like I said, much development to the characters and stuff like that, and that's why I think the writing aspect is kind of very weak in that aspect as well, and I don't think they do a very good job with that. I will say the special effects, when they do need it for, like, the fire and stuff like that, like, they do need the special effects for, like, the fire and stuff like that, doesn't look all that great. Like, it doesn't look like the worst. I definitely have seen worse, but at the same time, it's not that great either. It definitely feels like, made for TV and stuff like that. I just really didn't think it was all that great. Like, I thought it kind of looked a little bit not the greatest throughout the film, to be honest. And one of my other negatives is that I felt like this movie was a made-for-TV movie. Like, this really did feel like a made-for-TV movie. Like, I didn't really feel like HBO made this. Like, this is behind HBO, the guys that did Game of Thrones, which feels like you're watching a movie, like a theatrical movie. And with this, I just feel like I'm watching a TV movie. Like, I never feel like I'm watching, like, a theatrical film. Because they can do that with their stuff and stuff like that. But it just, I never really felt like this just feels like too made for TV, you know what I mean? Like, it feels really too made for TV, whether it be with the directing and stuff like that, the kind of the atmosphere and stuff. Like, it just feels very, very, very made for TV. And knowing HBO, they could do a lot better than this. That's what I'm trying to say. Knowing HBO, they could do a lot better than what they did here. But this feels very made for TV, and it's kind of obvious, honestly, throughout the film. And lastly, the movie is pretty boring. Honestly, for the most part, I was pretty bored throughout the film. I really felt like I wasn't very invested into the film for the most part, to be honest with you. I really felt like the movie was really, really boring, honestly. I was just kind of like, just kind of end already. I'm not invested into this film, to be honest with you. The story's bland, the characters aren't all that investing. It's just, please end. It's not that good. So overall, Fahrenheit 451 is a very missed opportunity, in my opinion. I think this could have been a really solid film, but the problems are that, you know, that the characters are not all that invested. They're very underwritten, not that well developed. I feel like the world building wasn't all that great. I just think the movie could have been a lot better if they did those things right. It could have made a much more investing story. And overall, I really felt like they missed an opportunity here, and the movie was just kind of bland, boring, and very, very forgettable. So it's time for my official grade on Fahrenheit 451, and my official grade on Fahrenheit 451 is a C. I really think this movie is just kind of just okay at best. It's not necessarily a terrible film, because there are some good things about this movie that I did like, but in this case, unfortunately, the negatives outweigh the positives in this situation, and I just found this movie to be very boring and very bland, and I really found this to be forgettable. Like, I'm still forgetting about this movie within reviewing it, honestly. It is the definition of a forgettable film, and I really didn't enjoy it all that much. So, it definitely deserves a C. So, if you have seen Fahrenheit 451, what did you think of it? Leave in the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you out later. Peace.